Dropshipping, SMMA, YouTube automation, clipping, sales, literally every single business model under the sun, I've tried it. For the last 5 years straight, trying to make 10K per month online. Because I never wanted to be just an average kid with an average bank account and most probably, my biggest fear, an average wife. I need a baddie, so I said f it, and I dropped out of college at 19 years old to make online business work. I even had to move in with my grandma in a remote mountain village in Bulgaria because I was dead broke. I'm not joking, I actually lived there. But no matter what I did, I kept failing at all the mainstream popular guru business models, no matter how hard I tried. But I didn't give up, and it turns out there is one untapped business model that's actually practical for a beginner to make real money online in 2026. And I haven't seen anybody else talking about it right now. In fact, it made me $30,000 last month in online income because it actually worked and it saved me from having to get a GOB. It also got me a brand new Ford Raptor and allowed me to move into a luxury apartment here in Los Angeles, California. But I had to learn the hard way, so I'm gonna go ahead and save you hours of looking up best business models to start online on YouTube and just tell it to you straight. Look, here's the problem with all the mainstream business models that you see on social media. They all sound really good on paper, but behind the scenes, no one actually tells you the reality of how they really work. But of course, as a beginner, you have no clue, so you go into them completely blind and then get destroyed in the process because you just didn't know any better. That's exactly what happened to me when I started popular online business model number 1, YouTube automation. You hear passive income, faceless accounts, AI generated content. Sounds a little too good to be true, right? Well, it is. The reality sucks. The way this business model supposedly works is you use AI to write scripts and then hire editors to make videos for you while you get rich on the YouTube AdSense. And when I heard this, I was hooked. But here's the problem. No one tells you that in order to even get monetized in the first place, to actually be able to make money from the videos, you need 1,000 subscribers on the channel, but even worse, 4,000 watch hours within the last year. Without these watch hours, you can't get accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, and in order to get them, you literally need hundreds of thousands of views. You can't just post any videos, you actually need one of them to go mega viral. And just to put it in perspective how difficult this actually is, this channel right here that you're watching that I've been uploading on for the last 4 years straight still isn't even monetized. That's right, I don't make any money from these videos. I'm purely posting because I know younger version Emil would desperately need these videos. So basically with YouTube automation, if you aren't going viral every single time, you're not getting paid. But of course, when I started, I didn't know that. So I created a YouTube channel in the sports highlights niche called Soccer Lemon. I literally grinded videos like my life depended on it, at home, in class, everywhere. And somehow I still don't know why or how I managed this, but I actually did get a couple videos to go viral and I did get monetized. In fact, over the last 5 years, the channel amassed over 19 million views. So guess how much money I made? $250,000? $500,000? Yep, that's reality. So it turns out YouTube only pays you half of the money the content makes. That's like in their terms of service after you get monetized. And on top of that, faceless accounts don't even get paid well that much because advertisers aren't willing to put too many commercials on your page. And in fact, sometimes YouTube even demonetizes your channel for reused content, which is exactly what happened to Soccer Lemon after 4 years. So there you go. It kind of just defeats the whole purpose of faceless content. I literally would have made more money as a McDonald's worker. So after 2 years of this bullshit model, I ultimately went to the next one. Something shinier. I don't even want to say it, but popular business model number 2, drop shipping. The most romanticized business model on the internet, supposedly making millionaires left, right, and center. Nope, that's bullshit. Look, I hated YouTube automation, but at least it was simple. make video, post. With dropshipping, it's the complete opposite of that. Physical products, manufacturers, ad campaigns, shipping fees, advertising costs, you name it. There's like a million things to do, and when you finally get it set up, 10 people have already stolen your product, copied you, and taken all your customers. It is quite literally the most oversaturated business model. It's been around for decades, and everyone and their mom has tried it or is actively doing it right now. And you're not competing with kids your age. No. You're competing with real brands, with real employees, and real marketing budgets. Your only real hope is to get really good at identifying winning products and then creating content on Instagram and TikTok for free to try to get some sales, which is exactly what I did. But the problem with that is that you can't build a sustainable brand, because how do you predict getting views all the time without paying for them? You literally need hundreds of sales to even make $1,000. And on top of that, keep in mind tariffs. So even when you do make a sale, you have to pay advertising, manufacturing, shipping, tariffs, and taxes on top of all that. Do you think that is a good way to make money? After a year and a half of trying, I finally got a product to actually do well. It got 6 million views. It was this like car visor mirror product, and I made $10,000. But after all the costs that we just listed, I barely broke even in terms of profit. And trust me, this wasn't a one-off problem. It kept happening with new product I tested. I would make revenue, but not actual cold hard cash after all of that headache and a million different moving parts. It's never sustainable. You're just running around pumping and dumping products and chasing internet trends. That's why if you look at the statistics, 87% of new dropshipping stores fail within their very first month. It was a literal nightmare. I was constantly stressed and grinding. The only way to actually make it work is if you're gonna build the next Gymshark or huge company. But guess what? That takes investment. And as a broke college dropout, it was out of the question. On to the next popular online business model, number 3, crypto. Look, at this point, I was so done with making videos or finding new products. I literally just wanted to click a button and make money. So naturally, crypto caught my eye, but it turns out it's just another word for gambling. It's supposed to be 1000x returns and $1 million monkeys, but here's the problem. It's not actually a business model. It's a bet on the market where you have to be right 99% of the time, because the one time you're wrong, you wipe out your entire month's earnings. It doesn't consistently pay you every single month, and in most cases, you're just banking on investor speculation because these coins and NFTs aren't backed by anything in real life. Like, tell me what this Doge is gonna do for me. Nothing. But my dumbass bought this NFT and lost all his money on this meme coin. And just to really paint the picture of how scammy the crypto market actually is, this coin right here from the President of the United States of America, yes, that guy crashed into oblivion. So I guess naturally you might think, okay, well, what about trading? These are actual stocks with real companies that are backed behind them. It's not like Apple is gonna go bankrupt tomorrow. And that's true, and it's what I thought. But if you look at the stats, only 1 to 3% of day traders actually make money in the long run. The rest of them just get wiped out, and even career traders that literally have been doing this for years, like TJR, ultimately have months where they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's because the market, especially in 2026, is so unpredictable. You got wars, inflation, about a million different things happening on at the same time that affect the price. And how are you, as a complete beginner, gonna have all the right information without having insider trading, and also even have the money to invest to actually make profit? Because even if you have $1,000 and somehow your stock magically doubles, now you have $2,000. Does that change your life? No. So with day trading or crypto as a complete beginner, good fucking luck. Moving on to popular business model number 4, WOP clipping. Now this one really got me. All you do is clip or cut out content from popular YouTube influencers and then post it on TikTok or Instagram and get paid for the amount of views you get. It sounded promising because everyone online needs content, so it's a super in-demand skill, and it was actually easier to go viral on Instagram and short form content than it is on YouTube. It took me 8 whole months to realize this, but just like with crypto, WOP clipping is a fundamentally flawed business model, because these creators that you're clipping for don't actually care about the metric you're optimizing for. Creators don't want more views if they're not making money from those views. If they're not getting merch sales or whatever else business they promote, they can't afford to pay you. And because you're not directly working with them, you don't know what content actually makes sales from the virality, so you're optimizing for the wrong metric, and then you're also competing with 1,000 other WAP clippers on the same campaign budget. And because of that very reason, creators don't want to take huge risks with their WAP campaigns, so they set the budget really low, and with all the competition, you're barely getting like this much of the actual percentage. Oh, and just like with YouTube automation, to even qualify to make money from the views, every single video you make needs to get at least 10,000 views. So imagine you spend all your time making this video, it gets 9,999, and then the minute it hits 10,000, the campaign budget runs out of money, all the other WAP clippers got it, and you're shit out of luck, you have to restart. All that time and effort you now have to go and do with a new creator, it's super unpredictable because once again, you're not working directly with them. With all those factors put together, you get situations like this.
Basically, some guy said that I owe my clippers over $500,000 because that budget ran out and then those people didn't get paid for those videos.
There's no leverage with clipping, WAP screws you over, and ultimately I crashed and burned doing it. It's just cheap labor. And finally, the next popular online business model that I tried in that remote mountain village, SMMA. So look, SMMA, or social media marketing agency, is supposed to be a combination of dropshipping and WAP clipping. Just like with dropshipping, an agency finds a buyer and then connects them with a manufacturer. But instead of physical goods, you're doing it with services. And unlike WAP clipping, you're actually working directly with the client. So everything sounds perfect, right? Wrong. Here's the brutal reality check. You end up becoming a glorified employee because you're working with 15 different clients at once, which means 15 hours of work a day. And even though you're outsourcing the work and you're not doing it directly yourself, that's still an entire process with so many clients, and you have to make sure it all goes smoothly, there's no errors, and what ends up happening is you just wake up every day to put out a new fire. It's high stress for not that much pay, and the market is super saturated because just like with dropshipping, everyone already knows about SMMA. Your profit margins aren't that much better, and then on top of that, you have to always be getting new client to grow the business, but then also keep the ones you currently have happy. But what ends up happening is you're doing two things at once, so you lose the old ones and you're basically on a war with two fronts. No bueno. It just flat out doesn't work unless you're willing to have a huge team. But even then, the competition is so fierce, you're always having to do cold calls and then work on the current stuff. It's a nightmare. So YouTube automation, dropshipping, SMMA, crypto, and WAP clipping all didn't work. On the side, I also tried sales at one point because it sounded promising. There were much better profit margins. But the problem is that I was taking calls all day, selling, which basically tied my time to money. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, it's kind of hard to get rich when you're on the computer all day, every day, and you're not making money while you sleep. And on top of that, you don't control who the person on the call you're selling to is because that's up to the company you work for. So what if they give you someone who's broke? No matter how good of a salesman you actually are, they're not gonna pay you. After all was said and done, after a real effort, all these business models failed me. The gurus promised me financial time and location freedom, but after spending years of giving these a real shot and burning my boats, still no luck. I was still broke, still living in that remote mountain village, which, by the way, had no heating, so in the winter I had to literally chop firewood to put in the furnace so I wouldn't freeze to death. No, I'm not making that up, like I actually had to do that, and on top of it, my parents thought I was a disappointment because I dropped out of college, and I just had nowhere to go. I didn't know what else to do. It really did feel like I was throwing my life away at some point. I had no game plan, and I was so burnt out and exhausted from all the fake internet promises I was told. I just wish there was a business model out there that had the leverage of SMMA, the low workload of crypto, the high demand of WAP clipping, and the big profit margins of sales. Kind of like the Loch Ness Monster of online business. But guess what? It turns out it's real. In fact, every single online business guru does it themselves. I mean, just think about it. They all preach, try this business model or that business model. But at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. So what are they actually doing? And when you look at it, it turns out they all do the same thing. Content. Because without good content, they're all invisible, irrelevant, and well, broke. Every single business owner, creator, and influencer needs it, because how do you market and make money without content? It's impossible. So late one last night, I was doom scrolling Instagram at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I had an idea that changed everything. What if I just figured out a way to help these people automate their content on Instagram? But not only that, create them a system that actually turns views into sales for their business. Because the most in-demand resource in 2026 is attention. So when you monetize that, you get paid the big bucks. And for the first time since starting online business and getting into this whole conglomerates of confusion and bullshit online, this was the one business model that actually fundamentally made sense. I swear, it felt like I discovered fire that day, and after some digging, it turns out the creator economy is expected to reach nearly $500 billion in 2027. It's supposed to double, which is a good thing because it means market timing is on our side. It's kind of like buying Bitcoin in 2010. So I reverse engineered the entire process and called this new business model content operating. You didn't need to show your face or spend hours with low quality clients every single day or even edit videos. You only focus on 1 to 2 super clients who pay you real money, and you just manage one video editor. As a content operator, you build them the system once, and that's it. The creators, influencers, and business owners make more money from their views that the editor is making. You just manage the process. No shipping hundreds of products or making gambling bets on the stock market. It was pure leverage, and because this model is new and unsaturated, landing those super clients wasn't even that hard. They're all literally desperate for content operators because they have trouble running their actual business and content at the same time. On top of that, you get uncapped earning potential because every single month the client pays you a base fee for your services on top of a percentage of the money the content generates for them. So if one of the videos you post for them makes $50,000, even at just 10%, that's $5,000 of cold hard cash in your pocket. My first content operating client paid me $4,000 the very first month, and then month 2, he paid me $8,000. And that's like 95% profit because the video editors are cheap. You can outsource it from India for like $4 an hour. As the content operator, you're in charge of the strategy and the system, what actually makes money, what clients actually care about. It's the most in-demand skill like we talked about. Everyone needs content, and I was even able to build a real connection with my first client, Nathan Nazareth. We actually ended up traveling the world together, and then after that, I landed another big client, Lynn Oding, who was a famous Hollywood movie director. And after that, even the main man himself, Dan Bilzerian. Yes, him. And I did all of this from my tiny, remote, freezing mountain village in Bulgaria. If you don't believe me, I have the entire journey documented on a YouTube series on this channel called Emil vs 9 to 5. So it turns out all that I needed was a new untapped business model that was low in competition but high in leverage. And of course, that actually worked. It changed my whole life. My parents didn't think of me as a disappointment anymore. I moved to Los Angeles, California. I bought my dream truck, and I literally spend my weeks going to the beach and then working for like an hour or 2 max per day. I finally have that location, time, and financial freedom that I was endlessly promised from internet gurus online. Look, are all these business models completely a scam? No, probably not, but the reality of someone who's actually tried them and dedicated years of his life is that they're not beginner friendly, they're too oversaturated, and you're best off looking at what the market actually needs, which is why content operating works so well. It's the one business model that's actually different, that you haven't heard online for the millionth time, and that can actually make you real money. So look, if you're struggling right now, I got you, bro. I know what it's like to be in the trenches. Trust me. If you feel helpless and stuck like I was trying to navigate the online bullshit of making money to actually hit your first 10K per month, I got you. I made a completely free 2-hour course on how to get started content operating even as a complete beginner with no prior business experience. It has everything inside that I use to make 30K per month, including the exact AI tools, structures, frameworks, everything. It's completely 100% free that I made for you guys, and it's an entire 2 hours long. I'll leave it first linked down below in the description of this YouTube video. Go check it out. I hope it helps. And that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe. Peace.